Most of us are used to working with paper copies of articles, slides, and notes. However, content in your extension course may be provided to you in a digital format through the university's eClass learning management system. Now, most likely the content will be in PDFs, Microsoft Word documents, or PowerPoint files. And you're welcome to download and print these files and work with them in their paper format. But an alternative is to go paperless and work directly with the digital copies. This video will focus on working with PDF files and show you some ways to get started making the transition from paper to digital. Now, there are some big advantages to working with the digital copy. You can access your files wherever you have a computer on the internet, which means you don't have to carry around all the paper. You can also do everything on the digital copy that you can do on the paper copy. For example, you can highlight and underline text, make comments, draw shapes, and on the digital copy you can even create audio notes if you wish. So, let's get started. There are many good software programs that you can use to read and annotate PDFs, but I'm going to show you one that's free and it does all the basics that you'll need. It's called Adobe Reader. So if you don't already have Adobe Reader on your computer, and you may because it's quite common, the first thing you'll have to do is download it. So you first want to go to www.adobe.com and find the link to Adobe Reader. The latest version at this time is Adobe Reader 11. Now if you have an older version, it's best to download this latest one. You'll also see other products on the site, but these cost money, and for the basics you'll only need this free one. So click on the Adobe Reader link and follow the steps to download the program to your computer. If you're having trouble downloading a software to a Windows computer, there is a link below this video that may help you. In your eClass section, the documents that are in PDF format have this small icon beside the file name. Now in most extension courses, clicking on this link will automatically download the file to your computer. Now how this process looks will vary according to the type of computer you have, either a Mac or Windows, and which internet browser you're using. Now remember that the recommended browsers to use for eClass are either Firefox or Chrome. Now if you're using a Mac computer and Firefox, the PDF will automatically download to the Downloads folder. On a Windows computer using Firefox, you'll get a pop-up window asking you to either save the PDF document or open it. And if you're using the internet browser Chrome with both Macs and Windows computers, you'll get a download button on the bottom left of your browser window. Now once you've downloaded the files to your computer, it's useful to make a separate folder where you can place all of the class documents. And inside of this main folder, you may even want to add more folders based on the modules or weeks of the course. This will keep everything organized and make it easier to find your stuff later on. Once you have downloaded the PDF file, you'll want to open it with Adobe Reader. Now if Adobe Reader doesn't automatically open the file, right-click on the file that you want to open, go down to Open With, and then scroll over to Adobe Reader. And when it opens, it'll look something like this. You'll see Adobe Reader in the top left-hand corner of the page, and you'll see these icons along the top. So you're now ready to start working with a document. You'll first want to open the comment tools, and there are two types, annotations and drawing markups. Now to open them, click on the View menu at the top, go down to Comment, and then over to Annotations. On the right-hand side, you'll see these tool windows open up. You can click on the small arrows to expand and reduce your view. I'm going to expand both annotations and drawing markups because we'll be working with both of them. I'm going to show you how 7 of these tools work. All of them work in a very similar way, so it won't take you long to get the hang of it. Now, how you work with these tools will be determined by your personal preferences, so experiment with them all and use the ones that you like the most and are most productive for you. So the first tool I'll show you is the sticky note tool. So click on the sticky note icon, which looks like a conversation bubble, and then move your cursor to the document. Click where you'd like to add the sticky note, and a pop-up box will appear. This is where you can type the comments, And to make the box disappear, simply click outside of the box and your sticky note has been put in place. When you move your mouse cursor over the sticky note, you'll see the comment pop up. And if you want to move the sticky note to somewhere else on the document, simply click on it and drag it to somewhere else on the document. You'll also see under the comments list, your sticky note comment will appear. The next tool is the highlight tool, and you'll probably use this one quite a bit. So click on the highlight tool, which looks like a highlighted pen and letter T. Then move your cursor over to the document and click and drag over the text that you want to highlight. You'll see it change color. Now after you highlight text, if you would also like to add a comment, you can double click on the highlighted text, type in your comment, and then click outside the box to get rid of it. And you'll see a little icon appear over the highlighted text indicating that you've also added a comment. And again, under the comments list, you'll see the comment added here as well. These are two of the most common tools that you are likely to use when annotating PDFs. Now at this point, I want to show you how you can change the look of your highlighting, because you may want to use a variety of colors when marking up your document. And the same process can be applied to the other tools I'll cover as well. So, place your cursor over some highlighted text, right-click, and go down to Properties. Now from this box you can choose another color, and you can choose the opacity. Now opacity is helpful when you choose a dark color to highlight with, but you want to make it lighter so you can see the text underneath. And you can just change that by moving the bar back and forth. And if you want to keep the style for all other highlighting, click on the box beside Make Properties Default. Then click OK, and your changes will be saved. So right-clicking on Annotations or the tool gives you the access to the Properties menu, where you can change the look. Right-clicking on the sticky note, for example, gives you slightly different options to work with. You can choose a different icon, and you can also change the color and the opacity as well. If you want to make these changes the default for next time, just make sure you click on the box and then hit OK. The next tool to look at is the text comment tool. So in all of the icons in the top right, the big letter T stands for text. So click on the big letter T icon, and then move your cursor to the document and click where you want to start typing. You'll see that a pop-up box appears, and this is where you can change the font and the size and the color, and then just start typing. If you want to move the text, click on the text itself and move your cursor around till you see a cross. And grab it, click and hold, and then you can move it to another place in the document. This takes some getting used to, but with a little practice you'll get the hang of it. Some people like to underline instead of highlight. Now the letter T with a line underneath is the Underline tool. Again, simply click on the icon, move your cursor to the text you want to underline, and click and hold and drag your cursor over the text you want to underline, and release when you're done. And again, right-clicking on the underlined text, going down to Properties, allows you to change the color of the line and the style of the line as well, and the opacity. If you want to make this the default, click on the box and click OK. The icon to the right of the Underline tool is the Add Note to Text tool. Now we saw this one in action in the Highlight tool already, but using this icon removes one step. The text that you will highlight will automatically be given a text box for you to use. So we'll click on the icon and we highlight the text in the document, release, and it automatically will pop up a text box for you to type in a comment. Click outside the box to get rid of it, and you will see again that there's a little icon here above the highlighted text indicating that you've added a comment as well. Let's take a quick look at the drawing markup tools. I'll just show you two of them, and you can play around and experiment with the other ones if you like. The text box tool, like the text comment tool, allows you to add text to the PDF document. The only difference is that a permanent box will appear around the text that you type. So go up to the drawing markups, click on the first icon, which is the text box tool. Move to your document and click and hold, and then drag your cursor and make the size of box that you want. You can now click inside of the box and type your text here. If you right-click inside the box, you'll again have access to the Properties menu, where you can change some of the options. And if you want to move the text box around, just move your cursor over the box until you get the cross, and you can move it to wherever you want on the document. And you can also grab the corners, and you can also make it smaller and bigger. The last tool I'll highlight is the text callout tool. It's the icon right beside the text box tool. So click on the icon and move your cursor to the document. Now where you click and hold first, we'll put a start of an arrow. So we'll click and hold, and then we'll drag up a box to somewhere we have room on the page. We'll release, click inside the box and type the text, and then click outside. Now this is really useful for pointing to something specific on the page, but maybe you don't have room to add comments here, so you can move the box to a blank spot on your page where you have room. You can also click on the box itself, and you can change the size of it, and you can also move it around as well. Now, when you move it, it may change the position of the arrow, so you can grab the end of it and put it back to where it should be. Now there's a bunch of other drawing markup tools you can use as well, and they basically work all the same. Here's one that creates a straight line. Here's one that makes an arrow on the page somewhere. This one makes a circle. And here's one that makes kind of a cloud. So if you want to put that in the cloud, you can do it that way. So, just some other drawing markup tools you can use and experiment with. And if you want to delete any of the markups that you've done, simply right-click on one of the markups and go down and hit delete. And that will also work on your highlighting and your underlining as well. You should also save your document frequently so you don't lose the changes that you've made. So this gives you a general overview of using Adobe Reader to annotate and mark up your PDF documents. Now there are other tools I didn't cover, but they all work generally the same way as the ones I've highlighted in the video. If you're used to and comfortable with working with paper copies of your articles and notes, which most of us are, getting used to working with the digital copies can take some time and effort. However, if you spend some time getting used to this new process, you may find that the flexibility and convenience will make your learning experience here at the Faculty of Extension more efficient.